Good afternoon and welcome to April 12, 2016 Glendale Housing Authority meeting being called to order at 3:50. May I please have the roll call?
Authority members: Devine.
Here.
Friedman.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Farazian.
Here.
Sinanian.
Here.
Chair Garpetian.
Here. May I please have your report?
Agenda for the April 12, 2016 regular meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Thursday, April 7, 2016 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Great. And what is next?
Next item on this agenda is the selection of a new chair and vice chair. The business before the Housing Authority now is the selection of the chair, and we can entertain nominations for that position.
Are you running the meeting now?
Yes.
Okay. I'll nominate Mr. Sinanian for the position of chair.
Second.
Okay. Are there any further nominations for the office of chair? Okay. Hearing no other nominations, we will have a roll call for the nomination of Authority Member Sinanian to be chair of the Housing Authority. Authority Member Devine.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Garpetian.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Najarian.
Yes.
Farazian.
Yes.
Sinanian.
Yes.
Now declare Authority Member Sinanian the duly appointed chair of the Housing Authority.
Congratulations. Thank you. I don't have a gavel to pass to you. But
Right.
Mr. Chair, the business before the Housing Authority now is the selection of a vice chair, and we will now entertain nominations for the office of vice chair.
I'll nominate Mr. Kelly.
I'll second. Can I second? Thank you.
Nominations do not require a second, but
Okay.
you're certainly welcome to voice your support if you want. Are there any other nominations for a vice chair? Hearing none, this is a vote of the authority for Authority Member Kelly as vice chair. Authority Member Devine.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Arpetian.
yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Najarian.
Yes.
Farazian.
Yes.
Chair Sinanian.
Yes.
Thank you. We now declare Authority Member Kelly the duly appointed Vice Chair of the Housing Authority. Next item before you, Mr. Chair, is the approval of minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Authority Members Devine.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Garpetian.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Najarian.
Yes.
Farazian.
Yes.
Chair Sinanian.
Yes.
I apologize, Chair, for cutting you off. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Next item, please.
Next item is oral communications.
We have no
were
cards.
submitted.
None. Next item.
On the business agenda at 6A is a public hearing. Director of Community Development regarding public hearing and approval of Section 8 Public Housing Agency Annual Plan Fiscal Year 2016-17. A1 is a resolution adopting and authorizing submission of the Public Housing Agency Annual Plan for Fiscal Year 2016-17 to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Well, this is
report?
the special time of year where we have the public hearing that you can open, take testimony with regard to our annual plan for the nearly 3,000 Section 8 vouchers that our Housing Authority manages. Our housing analyst, Veronica Lunn, can give you a brief overview of the plan as it's to be submitted to HUD and answer any questions and take any suggestions from the Housing Authority Board.
Thank you, Mr. Ochoa. My name is Veronica Lunn. Good afternoon, Housing Authority Chairperson Sinanian, Housing Authority members, and city staff. Today we are holding a public hearing for the Section 8 PHA Annual Plan for Fiscal Year 2016-2017. The Department of Housing and Urban Development requires each public housing agency submit a Section 8 Public Housing Agency Annual Plan. The purpose of the annual PHA plan is to provide a ready source for interested parties to look at basic PHA policies, rules, and requirements concerning the PHA's operations, programs, and services, and it also informs HUD and Section 8 participants of the PHA's mission, goals, and objectives for serving the needs of the low-income families. Since our agency has been rated a high-performing agency, we are eligible to submit a streamlined plan. On February 25th, staff met with the Resident Advisory Board to review the plan and obtain minutes and comments. Those comments will be submitted to HUD as part of the plan and are also attached to the staff report. Staff is recommending that the Housing Authority adopt a resolution authorizing the submission of the Section 8 Public Housing Agency Annual Plan for fiscal year 2016-2017 to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have regarding the plan.
I do have to ask, this came up probably a year and a half ago. We are, in our report, making sure that HUD understands that we have a severe need for increased Section 8 funding, correct?
Absolutely. City staff...
I know it seems like such a banal question, but it has to be done.
Absolutely. We have a close relationship with our local HUD office, and we are constantly reiterating the need for additional funding as well as additional vouchers.
And I kind of know the answer to the next one, but I'm going to ask anyway. Is there any outlook as to whether we may actually increase some more vouchers, more funding?
As of now, for HUD, we don't expect a reduction. We expect HUD to maintain the current funding.
And what's the atmosphere like in Congress? Is funding for Section 8 under threat or business as usual?
Business as usual. We expect to maintain the current funding.
At least until after the election.
Until the elections, when the okay, I'm not going to go there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Open the hearing.
So I'll open the public hearing. We have no cards. No one submitted any cards. Yes, we have Mike Fortney who wants to say a few words. You don't? Okay, so Mike Fortney doesn't want to say any words. We'll
Let the record
public
reflect
hearing.
that Mike Fortney did not speak during the public hearing.
So we'll close the public hearing, and at this point, we're just hearing. What are we doing? We're approving the plan.
I'll move item 6A1.
Second.
Let's have roll call, please.
Certainly. Authority members Devine.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Garpetian.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Najarian.
Yes.
Razian.
Yes.
Chair Sinanian.
Yes. Next item.
Next item is authority member and staff comments.
I have I'll keep my comments very short. I first want to thank former Chair Garpetian for his leadership, for keeping Glendale's housing issues on the forefront of the Council's agenda and the Housing Authority's agenda. I think he did a wonderful job and did everything that was possible to steer us in the best possible direction in these hard financial times. So thank you, Chair Garpetian. And I want to thank my colleagues for electing me, and I promise to do my best to continue in the best traditions that have been set on the Housing Authority before me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. No more comments? Oh, Mike Fortney does want to make comments. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
I was so anxious earlier. Good afternoon, Housing Authority Chair Sinanian and Housing Authority Board members. I'm Mike Fortney, the Housing Project Manager. I wanted to make the announcement that today marketing for what used to be called Glendale Arts Colony is taking effect, and applications will be available starting today. Wanted to mention a few other things. The name has changed. It is no longer the Glendale Arts Colony. It is now ACE 121. That's Arts, Culture, and Entertainment at 121 North Kenwood. So that's the new name of the project.
Why?
To remind you,
Why is that the new name? Just to make it a little more flashy? What's the...
the Glendale Arts had a problem with our project being named Glendale Arts Colony.
Colony, yeah, sort of.
So we went back and forth on a number of things, and
Ace almost sounds like it should have its smokes rolled up in its sleeve.
yeah.
You know.
Quite frankly, it was Peter Zovak's name.
Oh, okay.
So with the tagline, creative living, affordable life. Or no, creative life, affordable living. Sorry. So that's the... So just to remind you, it's a 70-unit apartment project, a mix of 1s, 2s, and 3s with some lofts as well. One of the units will be for a manager, so there'll be 69 affordable units. These are going to be available to folks making between 30 and 60% of area median income.
Is it not possible to have the manager also be an artist? An artist can manage a building, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody's putting thought into that, but there's certainly no reason we couldn't at least try.
Yeah, we should.
So I wanted to make, there's a couple things I need to get out there. There's an 800 number people that can call. It's 800-231-0600. 0736 to get more information or to have an application sent to them. They can also get an application on the project's website, which is www.ace121glendale.com. So ace121glendale.com. They can also go and pick up an application starting tomorrow morning at the YMCA gym facility, which is immediately adjacent to where the project's being built. And I wanted to take the opportunity to please, we don't want anybody, as anxious as they may be, to visit the site. It's an active construction site. You absolutely cannot be touring folks through that site right now. It's probably not going to be completed until about October. So we're just, please don't suggest to anybody that they go to the site.
The gym facility is the north facility or the south facility?
The gym facility is immediately west of where the project's being built. So,
South.
So it's the south facility.
yeah.
West of the project, south of the hotel.
Right. The hotel's on the corner.
It's on Louise.
And
Yes.
is there... do we have-
The address is 130 North Louis Street. That's where you can pick up an application or go online and get it, or call the 800 number and have one mailed to you. So, we also have we have 4 meetings scheduled that are informational meetings. The first one's going to be tomorrow. So I want to give you a heads up on that. The 3 of the meetings will be at the Adult Rec Center, which is 201 East Colorado Avenue. The first one, again, is tomorrow at 3 p.m.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Why are we having a meeting tomorrow and we just announced it?
The blast of the email blast went out today.
Who did it go to?
Well, we have an interest list that we keep.
Okay.
All the folks who, over the years, they call and ask about affordable housing, they sign up on this interest list. So we have thousands of names. And so we email blast them, and we'll also hard mail them the flyer. Meta, who is the developer of the project, they have a number of listservs that they will send this flyer out to as well. So the word is already out. And of course, myself and other staff, Meta, the YMCA, they probably field 10, 15 calls a week. So the word's out there that the project's coming up. So we're going to do the first one tomorrow, and then we're going to have another one the following Wednesday, April 20th at 6 p.m., also at the Adult Rec Center. And then another one is scheduled for Monday, April 18th at 3 p.m. And the developers scheduled one for Saturday, April 16th at 10:30. And that one will be at the YWCA. The address there is 735 East Lexington.
So can you go through the dates again?
Sure. We have tomorrow, which is April 13th at 3 p.m. We have the following Wednesday, April 20th, or at 6 p.m. And then we have Monday, April 18th at 3 p.m. All 3 of those meetings, again, at the Adult Rec Center, 201 East Colorado Avenue. And then we also have a Saturday meeting scheduled. It's April 16th at 10:30 a.m. at the YWCA, which is located at 735 East Lexington.
Is there a flyer? Is there something in electronic format, like a JPEG file that we can...
There is. I brought for each of the Housing Authority board members a pack of 10 flyers. I have additional flyers as well, so I'll distribute those to you. The flyer, it would be on the website as well, and if anybody wants it emailed to them, I'm more than happy to email the flyer.
That'd be great. I do want an email.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll be happy to do
And
it.
so does Councilman Garpetian, apparently.
Yes, I want to apply for it. I'm just kidding.
Mr. Garpetian.
Because it looks so nice from the outside. Couple of questions. What's the deadline for the applications to submit
thank
the
you.
application?
Yes. So the applications have to be postmarked. I want to say it's April 9th. May 9th. So the applications have to be postmarked by May 9th. And I have to say, too, that the applications have to be mailed in.
Have to be mailed in?
Mailed in. Mm-hmm.
And postmarked by May 9th. Okay.
Yes.
Have we determined what the criterias are to be eligible?
To be, yeah. Can I talk through that a little bit?
Of course.
We have points, priority points. What we did was give artists 2 points. We gave folks living in Glendale 1 point, and people are working in Glendale 1 point. So the most you could get would be 4 points if you were an artist that lives and works in Glendale. But if you're an artist that doesn't live or work in Glendale, you would be on equal footing with someone who is not an artist but lives and works in Glendale.
So, but in terms of, I mean, some of those things are begging definition. What's someone who works in Glendale? What is, I mean, how do you define someone working in Glendale? How do we define artists? I thought those were all issues that were sort of up in the air, and we were supposed to go through that.
No, we came to. I hadn't gotten to the part of the definition of artist yet, but yeah, no, we had brought that to the Housing Authority, and we defined it very broadly.
Right.
Artist to be defined as a person who works in or is skilled in any of the fine arts, including but not limited to painting, drawing, sculpture, book arts, printmaking, and mixed media. It also includes a person who creates imaginative works of aesthetic value, including but not limited to literature, poetry, photography, music composition, choreography, architecture, film and video. It also includes a person who creates functional art, including but not limited to jewelry, rugs, furniture, pottery, toys, and quilts. It is also a performer or theatrical artist, including but not limited to singers, dancers, musicians, actors, performance artists, costume, lighting, sound, and set designers, and in all art disciplines, a designer, technician, craftsperson, teacher, or administrator who is dedicated to using their expertise within the community to support, promote, present, and or teach and propagate their art form through events, activities, performances, and classes. So very, very broad.
If you recall, the discussion that we had was keeping that definition as absolutely broad as possible so that folks who, honestly, frankly, who live and work in Glendale today would have arguably an advantage in that respect. So housing for Glendale residents in Glendale at this location.
I'm a little troubled, though, by the concept of those who work in Glendale get a preference point. I frankly don't remember that discussion. I do remember giving a preference point for those that reside in Glendale. So someone, and again, then the question becomes, who is someone who works in Glendale? Does that mean that they have to have an office that formally employs them, and they have to have tax returns that somehow associate them with that employment? Or does working in Glendale means an artist who once in a while, because he can't find a job, which happens with artists all the time, by the way, that's sort of a signature characteristic of a lot of artists, they perform a few times a year, nevertheless they're artists. This is a serious concern. I mean, it's not a frivolous concern. So I'm trying to understand, do we have an answer to that? Well, and because if Meta is going to be going ahead and looking at these and sort of arbitrarily implementing these criteria, then that might become very problematic.
Well, we define working in Glendale as something that we can verify. So it would be a job that with an address in the city limits of Glendale.
But is the question that you're doing your art in Glendale, or rather that you are simply employed in the city of Glendale today?
Well, I guess both.
Well,
I mean,
right. So I think that was the idea was that folks who are working here, not necessarily who are doing art, they may be doing their artistic endeavors at a different time, but they work at Conrad's, as a server there. Yeah. They are here every day. They're vested in the community. That would be the working. They work in Glendale. It's verifiable. That's the idea.
And again, I think that's a fundamental problem, because that means that someone lives, I don't know, Manhattan Beach or whatever, is somewhere on the west side or far the east side. To me, doesn't make a difference. And they happen to be a waiter in Conrad's, but because they're a struggling actor, they are going to be measured on par with someone who lives in Glendale, performs in Glendale, but it maybe they don't have formal employment. Therefore, that's going to be point to point.
We're starting to get really into a discussion, but I do want to allow Peter or Mike to address the question. We've used living or working in Glendale as criteria in other projects before, and I think we have a very well-defined criteria that we've used in the past that seems to have worked, and maybe Peter can sort of address what it is or what our requirements have been to sort of address it, and then if we need to have a further discussion, then we can certainly bring it back and have the housing authority have the discussion.
Yeah, just one clarification, and it's listed in the materials that each person would pick up their application package. In terms of working, the criteria is 6 months pay stubs or an employment contract to document working within the city of Glendale. Well, all of the criteria and the discussions and the questions that we're receiving right now were all discussed previously before the Housing Authority and set in that order.
If I may, Mr. Mayor.
Please,
Mr.
go ahead.
Chair. What is the income level? What ratio is the income level?
It's between 30 and 60% AMI, so there'll be different
30 to 60%?
area median income. 30 to 60%.
So those making within 30 to 60% of area median income.
Yeah. So it depends on the household size to get the actual dollar amount.
Got it. And also, let's say you have 10,000 applications and 400 of them have 4 points. How do you go about choosing who will get the?
Right. So what we don't know how many applications we're going to get, but I would guess several thousand. In the scenario you said, where 400 appear to have the full 4 points, we would do a lottery on that. And if we didn't fill all the units with that lottery, we'd go to the pot that has 3 points. Artist that lives in Glendale or an artist that works in Glendale, and we would do a lottery on those. And if that filled the project and gave us a waiting list, we'd stop there. If it didn't, we'd just keep on going down the line.
Okay, so this point process is going to come back to us for more discussion?
Apparently not. They're
Well,
telling us, unless
yeah,
we
the
make
thing's
the
coming
point.
out, and it's already out, and we're the deadline is May 9th. I mean, it's really going to set back the process. Maybe what it will be helpful is for Peter and Mike to give you back a copy of what we've previously discussed with the council and the Housing Authority.
Yeah, that'd be good.
In
And
terms
if we
of
have to
because I mean,
continue-
it was a very specific discussion about all the points that we're discussing here today, including the artist criteria and the points for both artists, those that live and work, and those that live in Glendale and those that work in Glendale.
I don't remember the working part, and I don't, and I would have remembered, and so I'd like to have that back.
Sure.
And if we have to push the deadline back, I don't have a problem with it, because again, I don't understand how you can equate an artist who's unemployed in Glendale to someone who is not from Glendale but happens to be working in Glendale on something that's utterly unrelated to arts. So that's a fundamental problem.
Okay.
Well, maybe
I
we
think
should
you
vote.
made a point. I mean, you were.
Maybe we should vote on it because I don't think it needs to come back, and I don't see the problem. This is not just Glendale money. This is money from a wide range of source, from within Glendale and outside of Glendale. And the idea is that these are people that are in our community and obviously trying to live in our community. So I don't see why we would go out of our way to exclude them.
Well, rather than have a discussion, I mean, if 2 or more of the council members want to bring it back, we'll bring it back, but and probably post haste because this thing was.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing frankly was decided
to
on.
delay this when people are in desperate need of housing over something like this, I just think is.
Yeah, but when is
not
the
what we
project
should be
going to
doing.
be? When is the
We've already
project
discussed
going
it.
to be?
Probably October.
Okay, then you have time. I mean,
Well,
it's not
well,
like the project
hold
is
on.
ready.
Not a whole lot,
Not a
because
whole lot
in terms
time.
of the mobilization of this process, the selection process, is not a very fast process, to be sure. Screening all of these applications takes a good deal of time. Let us send you the staff report, and we will review the council or the Housing Authority board meeting and make sure everyone is comfortable with what was decided previously. And as City Attorney indicates, if council or Housing Authority board members want to bring it back, certainly it's always within your right to bring it back. You set that policy, but we will provide you with a refresher on where we were on this particular discussion.
Again, I wasn't here when that discussion has taken place. This board changed, and I think the mentality of some people changed, and I think it has to come back. If you can push it back 1 month, between 6 months to 5 months, I don't know how much pressure that would put on you to decide who from that 2,000 or 3,000 applications are going to be the lucky 70 people. But I like for it to come back and discuss it.
Question?
Yes, Ms. President?
Yeah, question. How about in regards of rent? In regards of in terms of rent?
Rent is going to depend on the unit size and the family,
but say
on a very low end, on a 1-bedroom, it'll be mid 500s probably per month, and then on a high end, on a 3-bedroom, I would say about 1,250. I think would be the high end on a 3-bedroom unit, a 60%.
Thank you.
Mr. Najjar?
So I would support putting it back. Something just doesn't seem logical that you've got two people otherwise equally qualified. One works in Glendale and lives in Glendale. The other is living in Glendale but is out of a job. Now, the person who's working would have a leg up on the person who's not working. But
That's not what's happening.
it's a 4-point system, right? You're an artist and you'd get 2 points. If you work in Glendale and you live in Glendale, if you have a job in Glendale and you're working, you got 4 points. If you're living in Glendale but you're out of a job, you don't get that 4th point. You are lower than the person with 4 points.
That's right.
So let's not look confused. It's simple adding from 1 to 4. And let's bring it back.
Yes, and obviously I support
So we're talking a
that position
6-month delay of finding housing for people who are in desperate need of housing over this, correct?
Oh, I didn't say 6 months.
How long of a delay will this cause for people who want to apply?
We're going to come back as quickly as we
Right.
can.
So I don't know where the
Next
6 months
Tuesday.
came from.
So you might change the criteria that you've already advertised now on people?
And this is something I'm going to have to talk to the
That what we're
city
talking
manager.
about? So we've put out to
that-
people what the criteria are, and now we're talking about, after discussing this in the past, changing that?
That'll be the discussion that comes back apparently in front of the Housing Authority. So at this point, nothing's changed.
But if it does?
If it does, then the
Go to those
council
people
will...
and say, I'm sorry, but the council changed its mind? Just so that we're clear.
Ostensibly, sure.
There you have it. Thank you, Mr. Courtney.
Well, do we take a vote? I've heard from a few of us.
This was just an announcement. That's all this
Again,
was.
Practices.
So what, council voted on it. I think it was unanimous at the time. So any of the council members, with one council member or housing authority member and another housing authority asking just to put it back on the agenda. If the council wants to change it, it'll take a motion by somebody who voted with the majority last time to change whatever the policy is going to be.
But that's not, the time isn't yet. Okay.
Right. So we'll bring it back, and we'll bring it back next week probably.
Very well.
So it's going to be put back on the agenda for
ASAP.
Housing Authority.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item?
There's no other items. That was the comments period. It's just all we require is a motion to adjourn for this meeting.
So moved.
Second?
And we're adjourned as of 4:20.
See ya.
Okay, see you later. Still have a meeting.
Yeah. Oh, just them?
Madam Mayor?
Okay, ready? Okay, I'd like to call to order the joint meeting of Glendale